Hi, I'm Kenny Anderson, Director of Multicultural Affairs for the City of Huntsville, and welcome to Impact. Each week we bring you information about exciting things that are happening right here in this community, and today will be no different. One of the groups that we love to support and shine the light on this broadcast is an organization called First Stop Incorporated. They do some great work in our community, expressing services, I should say sharing services, with regards to the homeless population, and it's an organization that you certainly need to learn more about. Now, one of the things that you need to also do is find a way to support them, and so one of our ways is by having guests from their organization come on our broadcast and talk about the good stuff that they're doing and some of their fundraising initiatives. Mike Gordon is Executive Director of the board. Should say he's board chair. I just gave you a promotion just now. Sorry about that. He is board chair, but he functions like an executive director, and we're just glad to have him back. Welcome back to the broadcast.
Thank you, Kenny, for having me. It's good to be back.
It is great to have you. Let's start, first of all, real quickly. Let's let people know what First Stop is, and then we can talk about everything else that's going on.
Sure. First Stop's a daytime support center for our homeless community. We have a couple of case managers right now, which we're hoping to increase that, to increase our capacity. But we're there during the day, 5 days a week, just supporting them. Our short vision mission statement is we encounter them where they're at. We connect them to services, and then we want to get them on a path to independent, sustainable living.
And as a nonprofit organization, of course, it's important for you to collaborate with other groups in the community and stay connected in various ways, and that's a big part of what you do as well.
Yes, it is. It's a major part. As we've discussed before, we've changed our revision this somewhat, and we're really launching out more in that area in this past year. We've got partnerships with like Wellstone and the Soup Kitchen on North Parkway, which is kind of a north end of town place for the homeless, and Salvation Army, SNAP, just a number of things. And we're looking at extending that. We want to continue to grow that.
Yeah, it's all about providing those great services for people in the community. And of course, in order to continually provide those services, you need funds to do that.
Yes, unfortunately you do.
Unfortunately, you do. You know, it's funny because people, and I've been in the nonprofit world before, I've been in and out of it. I've been for-profit, nonprofit, and back and forth. And whenever I work for a nonprofit organization, I'm always talking about how part of the conversation is every year when you have those annual reviews and you start talking about goals for next year, you're looking at your funding. We're going to do level funding. Are there going to be cuts? What kind of resources might we be losing? What kind of grant writing needs to take place? I mean, you're always engaged in something to try to make it happen. And one of those fund development areas is fundraising, where you're looking at ways to support the organization locally. And you, of course, have a big event that's coming up here. It's an annual event, and so it happens in the late summer, early fall time frame. Right. Tell us about that event.
Well, this is our first year for this, and it's a dinner fundraiser. And we expect this to be our annual major fundraising event. And this year we've invited a speaker, Bill Searcy, a former football player at Alabama for the Bear. And we're excited about his story. He's got an awesome testimony. And we're just excited about that. It's going to be at the Campus 805.
Great location, by the way.
It is. And we're calling it Go Back to School. So we're looking forward to it.
Go Back to School is very timely because it's a time of year where people are thinking about doing just that. And as you mentioned, your keynote speaker is Bill Searcy. I'm just going to hold it up right there so that some people can perhaps see it. This is the book. This is the author. He's going to be coming, Bill Searcy. The name of the book is High Tide, A Story of Football, Freefall, and Forgiveness. Right. That sounds like an awfully powerful testimony.
And it is. I've read his book, and it is. I'd encourage, and we invite everybody to come out and join us in sharing that night with him. It's going to be an awesome time. And we're also going to use it as a launching point, as we've shared before. We've revisioned First Stop. It's always been a great organization, but the Lord's given us a vision to go in another direction, to revision it. And we're going to launch that on that night as well.
Wow, so this is really a big deal. And when you bring in somebody like this, of course, you're bringing them in largely to help anchor the fundraising process with a person who has, you know, a little bit of a history somewhere, written a book, maybe celebrity status of some type. But there's always a story behind that. And I think that's the most powerful thing. And this I can tell, I have not read the book, but I can tell with as much as we know about football and the whole culture of football in our society, and then the culture of the Alabama Crimson Tide, and he was one of the members that played with the great Bear Bryant. Right. And then the subtitles, Freefall and Forgiveness. You know, a lot of times people get stuck with the freefall part. Right. But the forgiveness part, and you know something I'm thinking about too, Mike, one of the hardest people to forgive is ourselves.
Absolutely, you're right.
And so this is going to be a pretty powerful story by Mr. Searcy, and I'm sure you're looking for a big turnout.
I absolutely am. And that's, we have, you know, you can buy sponsorship tables at individuals. We have individual seat tickets. So we encourage everybody to come, and it's going to be a great time. But also what it's supporting is going to allow us to just continue to offer more services, but even greater than that, like I think I mentioned to you, the First Stop initiative we're starting to put in place. It really gets some of our folks in our homeless community on a path to independent, sustainable living. And that's
which is your goal.
That's our goal. And that's what we're focusing our development on. We love giving them, providing the daily services. Everybody needs that. You feel better about yourself if you've had a shower. You feel better about yourself if you've had clean clothes. And we definitely want to do that. But once you got them there, you want to offer them a step up, a hand up. You know, not a hand out, but a hand up. And that's our focus. And we're excited about how it's going to. The Lord's going to use that in the coming years, we hope.
You know, that's so important, Mike, too, because I think a lot of people see the homeless situation. They oftentimes cast certain judgments and they make certain critiques based on what they think they see and maybe even based on what they've seen in other situations. But what I've seen across the board in Huntsville especially, and this is other agencies as well, Huntsville Housing Authority with its Up and Out program, you know, it's 5-year self-sufficiency initiative. Where the focus is on helping people become sustainable, self-sustainable. Right. That's as huge a part of your mission as anything. You're not trying to put a Band-Aid on a problem.
Absolutely not. That is our mission.
That is your mission. Right. That's at the core of what you do every day. And a lot of people don't often see that. They see groups like yours and they think, well, they're just taking care of people. And some people even see that taking care of people as a problem because they say it creates other challenges and issues. And I'm always saying to people, look, first of all, take a look at this thing from the inside. You know, ask some questions, volunteer with the agency, meet the board chair or the director of the agency. Talk to people who have a vested interest in this process, who are on the ground every day, who are seeing people working in the community in a variety of different capacities, so that you can really understand. And the reason I said all that is because that taps directly into the heart function of giving.
Right.
So when somebody sees it, they're not just giving because it's just a nice thing to do. Here's $10, $20, $25. But they're actually understanding that the money that's raised drives a cause. Right. And that when you're able to have a fundraiser like this, the money goes to doing something that makes an impact in people's lives.
Absolutely. And these are things I've noticed, and I think it's human nature, but to give something, if you're giving money, it's good to see something that it's doing. Maybe you can speak some to this too, but when you're asking, like we want to increase our case management. So we want to get some funds.
To hire somebody. Absolutely.
But that's different than say, I'm going to give you $500 and here's, you know, a new refrigerator.
That's right.
Instant gratification. I'm going to contribute to the salary of somebody that's going to really focus on these people, getting them on that path. That's right. To independent, sustainable living. That's a little, you don't really see that immediate gratification.
Yeah.
It's more long term.
Yeah.
But we invite any church group, small group, business, individuals. Man, we have a lot to do. We appreciate anybody that wants to come and do some community service with us. Yeah. It makes an impact on these people's lives.
But there's so much opportunity in that.
There is. When I tell folks, really, if you see somebody on the street that's homeless or just having a hard time, the best thing you can do, the biggest immediate thing you can do is acknowledge their life.
Wow.
Come over and say, hey, my name's Mike. Wow. What's your name? You know, how you doing? What's going on? And I think I've mentioned this before because I've been caught up in that. When I'm after my American dream, as you call it, when I was early in my marriage and stuff, I want a better job, I want a better house, I want to eat. And I found that not to be satisfying at all. Not that those things aren't great, but it's not the thing that should drive, it wasn't the thing that was driving my life, because that put me in a not a good spot. When I finally learned to be other-oriented, and when I started street outreach, it opened my eyes tremendously. We're talking about the homeless community, but it opened my eyes to everybody that's going by me during the day is probably broken at some level. So let's start being sensitive to that. And I've learned when I do that, everything else is provided.
Yeah. I couldn't have said that better, Mike. I mean, you kind of touched on something, I think, that we oftentimes fail to recognize. And sometimes it's in our haste to get to the next stop in life, wherever we might be going. Sometimes it's because of our own discomfort with seeing somebody else in an uncomfortable situation.
Right.
Sometimes it's out of fear. You know, there are all kind of motivators out there that keep people away from providing the very thing that somebody else needs.
Right.
Which sometimes is just a kind word,
Right.
an affirmation,
Right.
a sense of their own humanity. And we fail to realize that many times because, again, we are so narrow in our focus and we've made decisions about certain things that we haven't allowed ourselves to expand our love and our capacity for sharing and caring for other people. And I want to believe that we're better than that.
Yes, we are.
We're absolutely better than that. And we have to be better than that in everything that we do. But being better means being intentional.
That's right.
It means that we have to think about it. And so when a Mike Gordon comes up with First Stop and his board and the great supporters that he has and says, we're doing an event, we want it to be an annual event, and we want this to be one of the crown jewels and our opportunity to raise money, we need people to pay attention and not just write it off as just another thing that's happening. And hopefully these kinds of things will spark an interest in others to say, I need to find out more about that First Stop. What are they doing down there? How can I possibly help and assist them in meeting their mission? So again, Mike, this is a big event. It's go back to school. I love that. By the way, we love educational themes on this show.
Right.
Go Back to School takes place. Bill Searcy, I'm going to show you the book one more time. A big plug for that because this is one of the main reasons you're coming, to hear Bill and his powerful story. It's a story of football, freefall, and forgiveness. That is extremely powerful.
Yes, it is.
And if people want more information, they go to a website. Is that how that happens? Or they go to a phone number? Tell us how people get more
our
information.
website has it on there, and that's www.firststop.org. And our number is 256-533-3391.
Yeah, I like it when people have websites that you can just remember.
Right.
You know, firststop.org. Period.
Right.
It's the name of the agency and it's the name of the website.
I'm thankful that was available.
That's right, because you just never know.
Yeah.
Mike Gordon is board chair for First Stop. They're doing some great work in this community. I love the way that you've also, as you said earlier, you alluded to this, just the whole revisioning and restructuring of the board and being able to recruit people to the table that can be beneficial to the services that you provide. First Stop is a community jewel, there's no question about it, and the work that's being done is invaluable to the lives of those who you touch. So thank you for doing all that you do.
Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate your time, appreciate you having us.
All right, we'll see you again soon. Again, you got an open invitation. Anytime something's happening, just come on in and let me know.
Great, thank you.
All right, thanks, Mike. I want to thank you for being a part of our conversation once again. I'm going to do it just one more time. It takes place, and you can get the information, meaning the fundraiser, for First Stop takes place at www.firststop.org. You want to make sure you go there to get all the information. We didn't get into all the details because you'll forget it. Just go to firststop.org. You'll hear all about Bill Searcy or see all about Bill Searcy, who's going to be the keynote speaker at this event. His book is called High Tide, A Story of Football, Freefall, and Forgiveness. Sounds like a fascinating experience and a great opportunity to support a great community resource. You can see a video of the show that you just watched on our Facebook page, which is Impact with Kenny Anderson, our YouTube channel, Impact with Kenny Anderson, and you can also see some behind-the-scenes shots of what happens once those cameras stop rolling. I'm Kenny Anderson for Impact. Have a great day.